Hello everyone, it's August already. The months are flying by and here we are with our usual beginning of the month forecast of things that might be coming up for you to deal with as we go through this month and actually beyond as well, because some of what has come through to me is not only for this month but it's actually through to the end of the year. So in this forecast we'll probably be talking about August but also about the rest of this year too. So as you may have noticed by clicking on all the links that got you to watch this video, we are now making the Hart-Hub content freely available through our YouTube channel. So if you want to keep up to date with these monthly forecasts and all the other things that we do, you'll need to pop over to the YouTube channel and press the like and subscribe button, and then you'll always get the updates. And we decided to make it freely available just to help people who might be struggling with financial matters at this time. So we wanted to reach as wide an audience as possible, and hence why we've moved over to YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you're very welcome. Don't forget, like and subscribe. So let's have a look at what's coming up for August then. So the first theme that came through to me earlier when I was looking at all this was the theme of ways forward. So it's guaranteed there are and will be obstacles that we need to overcome as we go through, I suppose you could say as we go through life, but we're looking more particularly right now at August. So it might seem this month as if there's like obstacles in your way that might be trying to prevent you from moving forward in pretty much any area of life, really, whether that's, like family matters, relationships, work, home stuff, anything really. It might feel like there's obstacles in the way and that these obstacles might be insurmountable, like you can't get over them or around them or under them. But actually what was important to note this month was that actually you can. So however big the obstacle seems, you can get through them to be able to move forward. So the idea was that we need to really look for how we can get through things this month. So this image came to me of a stream, and it's like you might kind of stand on one side of the stream and think, oh, how on earth am I going to cross the stream and get to the other side? Well, if you have a look around, you might see just downstream a little bit, there's some stones that you could walk across. Or if you look upstream, you might see that actually some massive boulders that create a natural bridge across the stream. So it was looking for ways to move forward when it might seem there is no way forward. So just thinking a little bit outside the box, I guess, looking a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and then seeing what's there that you could use to get you through. And it seems to be that in August, it's a time to find these ways. And this is quite blunt, this bit. So rather than seeing the obstacle and saying, well, actually, I can't because there's too much in my path, it's like, well, actually really checking out, is that the truth? Or is it a story that you're telling yourself so that you don't have to move forward and stay in a comfort zone? So it was a bit of a hard-hitting kind of bit to the forecast, that sentence. But yeah, just make sure you're not deceiving yourself and just saying, oh look, I can't, there's obstacles in the way, or the time's not right, or any of these stories that you might be telling yourself, because there are ways forward. And the final point under the ways forward theme was focus on stepping out of comfort zones. This has been in the theme for months now, hasn't it, about stepping out of comfort zones. It's hard. Comfort zones are comfortable because they're comfort zones. We like to be comfortable, but actually the adventure begins outside the comfort zone. So if you are stuck in a comfort zone and you know there's a way forward, or you need to be moving forward, but you're kind of deceiving yourself with ideas of, oh, I can't because it's actually potentially not true. So yeah, just being aware that we're all capable of telling our stories that may or may not be true. So yeah, that was what I was given to pass on around this idea of ways forward. What
yeah, I think what's coming to me as you were saying that, it's sort of the old ways won't open new doors, isn't it? And now I think if we reach obstacles, rather than, like you say, give up, it's a matter of, okay, how can I navigate this differently? Because new things require change and different choices, don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really good. Very similar to kind of what I've got through so far.
Oh, is it? Okay. Do you want to do one of yours, or should I carry on?
Yeah, carry on. You do yours.
I'll carry on. Okay, I'll carry on then. So the second thing for August for us to focus on is strength, and it was strength and strengths in the plural. So what are your strengths? Now, if you were to, pop out and someone said to you, what are your strengths? It would be hard to answer it, wouldn't it? Because we generally don't see our own strengths and qualities and strong points. So it might be hard. So for this one, you might need to ask a friend or a trusted family member or a partner or something, and just say, what do you think my strengths are? Just to kind of get the ball rolling, because it could be quite hard to actually think of your own strengths, but it seems important to identify them, whether you can list them for yourself or you need some help to get the ball rolling, and then you add your own. Maybe even get a bit of paper and write down what your strengths are. And the reason that this is important is firstly because you do have some. Everybody has strengths. It's just a case of finding out what our individual strengths are. And we need to identify them because we're going to need to draw on them. So through the month of August, and this is one of those things that go on through to the end of the year, we need to know what our strengths are so that we can draw on them and use them to get through August and the rest of 2022. So whatever our strengths are, maybe it's our strength is that we're intuitive and we get a sense of being able to feel whether things are right or wrong for us. Or maybe our strength is that we can, do a fantastic job of painting bedrooms or something. Whatever the strength is, it doesn't matter, but you'll need to draw on it. So your own personal individual strengths could be used to guide you through the month, to guide you through the rest of the year. They might be used to kind of create an income. It's just huge, this concept of what are your strengths, and really start to draw on them so that you can kind of become independent and self-sufficient and kind of be able to make your way forward in the world. So I guess it ties in with that previous theme of moving forward, doesn't it? And these strengths are not only needed for you to get you through. It sounds like it was going to be terrible, doesn't it? It didn't feel like it was going to be terrible. It just feels like it's a time to recognize strengths by way of helping us to move forward. So they're not only asking us to identify our own strengths for ourselves, but also for the world. Because if you think about it, I would literally rather just sit in a darkened room for a month than paint a wall. I cannot bear it. It does my head in. I think it's boring and soul destroying to paint it all once and then realize you've got to do it all again because it's a second coat. I cannot bear it. But what I would love is for someone to come and paint my wall for me. So you might be able to come and paint my wall, avoid it, preventing me from doing something I absolutely detest, and you could get the money that I pay you to paint my wall. So actually I need you to come and paint my wall because it saves me a fate worse than death as far as I'm concerned. So we all need to recognize what our strengths are for ourselves, and because the world needs them. So yeah, don't be afraid then to offer your strengths out to the world, even if it seems silly. Maybe your strength is that you know a weed from a flower and you could help some elderly neighbor with their garden, or your strengths are needed. And yeah, the final point was now and through to the end of the year. It feels to me like there's a massive push now to get us all to move forward, and it's our strengths, our individual strengths, that are going to help us to do that.
Spot on. I might have worded that slightly different, but I've been saying exactly that all year about it's time for us to step forward into our creator. What are we good at? Why aren't we doing this every day? Why aren't we utilising this more? And like you say, it could be as simple as painting a wall as to being a really good public speaker. But whatever our talent is, our strength, are urging us at this time to step forward. It is vital we remember who we are.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's so important, isn't it? Not who we were told we are or who we were told we should be.
Yes.
But actually who we are, and this happens to most of us in our early life, when we're growing up from parents and school and society and all of those places. They give us this idea about what we should be or who we should be or what we should be good at. And it's time to let all that go now. It really is, isn't it? It's time to draw on our own strengths, whatever they are. And you know what? Some of those strengths, there may not be a course to take in them or a qualification that you could earn from having that strength. I don't know if there's a qualification that helps people to decide what's a weed and what's a flower. I don't know, there might be. But if you already know it, you don't need a qualification, you just know it. So offer it to the world. There's lots of things that we can do that don't need you to be qualified in.
Most definitely. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. So that's the theme of strengths. The last theme that I was given for us to look at in August is the theme of mysteries. Now, this keeps coming up, doesn't it? I think for the last couple of months, we've been given this theme of, I remember a couple of months ago, it was the magic and mystery. This month, it was just mysteries. It felt like not the magic has gone, but mysteries was the main focus. And this kind of made sense as it was coming through to me, because some things are unknown to us until we know them. Just let that land. It sounds a bit cryptic. So some things are unknown to us until we know them. It's obvious, isn't it? Of course, we don't know things until we know them. But how often do we stop ourselves doing something because we don't know what it will be like or what the outcome will be? Well, we never will know until we do it, will we? So something about, okay, just accepting that things will be unknown and there will be a mystery. But that's all right, because then when we do it, the mystery ceases to be a mystery because it becomes known. So basically what we've been guided to do here is to recognize that we won't always know what the outcome of something will be, but that doesn't necessarily mean we shouldn't do it. So I was given this analogy of, like when you're thinking of booking a holiday somewhere and you kind of look at the brochure or the website and it all looks wonderful and you kind of go, but you don't really know what that hotel's going to be like or what the resort will be like, do you? Or, whether the food will be any good or not. You don't really know till you get there. It doesn't stop you going and trying it out, does it? And I think that's a really good analogy to think, okay, I don't know what this thing I'm thinking of doing or moving into might be like, but when I get there, then I'll know. And if need be, I can tweak it and make some changes. And if you think of the holiday thing, maybe you'd never go back again, but we can make changes. But it's the getting going, it's the doing something and not letting the fear of the unknown stop us. So there was something about embracing the mystery, embracing the uncertainty. And again, this ties in with the themes that we've had for some months now about magic and mystery. And this seems to me like it's going to be a key theme right the way through the rest of this year, to kind of find the mystery, the magic, and go for it no matter what our fears or worries might be. And this will involve letting go.
Yeah.
Now, this might be scary. So it could feel like there's going to be some death around at the moment. Now, don't get all panicky. This doesn't necessarily mean people are going to be dying, but it's the death of the old ways. So it might be that there's old patterns that need to be left to die, or old relationships, or old identities, or anything that's kind of served its purpose or has run its course. So you might find that it feels like there's some grieving to be done as you're letting go of the old to make way for and space for the new. But it's okay, because if you can draw on your strengths, your own unique individual strengths, they'll pull you through this. So it's not like you haven't got the resources already to get you through any of these kind of endings and new beginning transitions that are around now. I think they've been around all this year, but they're around now, and they'll be around to the end of 2022 as well. I've said a lot there. I feel like a waffle on
good. Yeah. So I'm beautifully, I have nothing to add to that. I think you said that brilliantly. I think definitely, isn't it? The theme, certainly, as long as we've been doing this, it's very much like continuation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people are being really encouraged to recognise that the old is gone. It's time for the new. But of course, as we know, people get very familiar with the familiar, even if it's crap.
Yeah.
So it's time for courage, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah. And that might be one of our strengths. We might have courage. We might have bravery as a strength that we didn't even notice.
It takes courage to change. It's easy to stay the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant. I got first off though, it was unusual. Channeled through Talk to God, and I was like, okay. And God can be, in my opinion, whoever you perceive it to be. So for me, God, it's not necessarily a guy with a white beard. I think of God as source, higher self, another part of myself. But let's talk to God. This was really a card for like find your faith.
Yeah.
And I think faith is vitally important. It could be faith in nature, faith in a better day, faith in self. But it's about just literally finding your faith, because it keeps us strong, especially when the wind's blowing. And talking to other people who understand where you are. Not necessarily going around every day venting and saying the same thing over and over again, but sometimes it doesn't half help to get another opinion or to someone to listen. So don't be afraid to talk to God, to self, to friends, just get some faith in. For me, what really renews my faith is definitely just going to the woods, go and find a tree, go and sit under there and complete in nature. Because I agree, Mark, I think the next 6 months might be a little bit difficult because we're always seeing the destruction of the old now.
Yeah.
Very much up to us what new springs forth. I think that's what.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything to add to that? Talk to God. Find some faith.
Yeah, just that phrase. I think I said it a few months ago. Let go and let God.
Lovely. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's good. Just a little phrase, isn't it, to kind of help remind you that you can hand it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when we've just maybe spent 5 minutes and just spoken to the universe, to God, whatever you perceive it to be, it takes it out of us. We just feel better. So do consider that. my next theme was daring to be happy with where we are and what we've got. So we all get very consumed by something called happiness preoccupation. One day we're going to be happy. When the children leave home, when we have a bit more money, we always push it down the road, we kick the can. And it's actually daring to be happy right now with what we've got. There's got to be a little bit of joy in every day. Even if it's fleeting, even if it's 20 seconds of joy. And it's daring to actually allow ourselves to be happy. I know that this year has been a bit of a dark night of the soul for a lot of us. And there's been days where it hasn't had a lot to feel about. But the smallest things, I might see a flower and it makes me smile inside. It's brief, I'm going to remember it. It might be a nice conversation with someone that lifts me for 10 minutes. So it is about looking for a bit of joy and daring to be happy. People are quite scared to be happy right where they are with where they got. We've been taught that we've always got to be trying for something new, achieving something. We've never taught that it's just okay to be here and happy in this moment. And a big part of my work this year has definitely been to help people to be in the now rather than in the past or a perceived future.
Definitely.
Just be happy now with what you've got, and then the universe will build on that.
I think even with the dark night of the soul stuff, you know, that if people aren't familiar with that phrase, it just means, you know, going through a really tough time, almost like, you know, rock bottom type time. But even if you're in that dark night of the soul time, the one thing that you might kind of be able to appreciate is that you still got through the day. And there's something there, and I think it's our soul. There's something that guides us or holds us or supports us. Even when things are really bad, there's still something there holding and supporting us. So, you know, I'd call it soul. You might have a different word for it, but even in that, there's something to appreciate, isn't there?
I also think as well, with this being daring to be happy in this moment, it's also, let's take a bit of responsibility. Let's start to, I mean, at the moment, we're being bombarded 24 hours a day with news. It's always bad news, if you notice. It's always, we're all going to die of something like that. Sometimes it's very much about, I'm going to choose to be in a better frame of mind today. I'm going to turn that off. I'm not going to let that influence me. I'm going to play some music. I'm going to go and be in nature. I'm going to see a friend. It's taking choices also to support your well-being. And we could just watch the news, couldn't we? And die a slow death. But it's time to take responsibility. Dare to be happy with what you've got where you are now. Spirit also, my last channeling was about looking at the stuff which we actually give our time to and moan about, and they're telling us to stop it. So, for example, it might well be that you find yourself in a queue tonight and you've got to wait 15 minutes. And I can imagine the general vibe in amongst all their motorists. It's not going to be very good.
No.
So how about we take advantage of times like that, and we look out the window and see what we can see. We use the breath. We get into the now. Oh, rather than, oh God, it's going to take me 3 hours to get home. But I've got a bit of time. I can't alter it. Let's be here now. So it's very much don't sweat the small stuff. We do as humans tend to take the smallest things and blow it out of proportion. And a great saying I love is, are you having a bad day or are you having a bad moment?
It's a good one, isn't it?
You could stub your toe in the morning. Oh, the day's going to go bad. Is it? Or you just drag it on. So I think mainly the theme of mine this month, is to take responsibility for where we are and our own well-being.
I think that's good.
We have so many tools at our disposal. We can't keep blaming the husband, the ex, the mother, the father. At some point, we've got to say, well, it's up to me now. And there are so many things we can do to assist ourselves, especially if we are having a hard time emotionally. And I suspect, with what I'm seeing in practice, most people are at the moment.
It's a tough time. And what you're saying there really ties in with that ways forward theme, doesn't it? It's like the stories that we tell ourselves, you know, okay, I've stubbed my toe, it's going to be a terrible day, but is it? Or was that a terrible, you know, stubbing of the toe that took about 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
Just because those obstacles that we put in the way, there's that day written off, isn't it? As a bad day, or, you know.
Bad life in some cases.
I
think what we do within the first 10 minutes of waking is very important. Our brain at that point is in theta stage. And what we tend to do is grab the phone and look at the news or go on Facebook. So we're an alarmist. Our brain go into survival mode and gets very stressed. My practice these days, I will wake up, I will think of 3 things I'm grateful for, and it might even be just waking up. I've got a bed, I've got a cup of coffee. Then I'm going to do my breath. So I'm going to assist myself to be in the best place for the day. And I think if all of us start to bring in a 5-minute ritual in the morning, we're going to see our well-being is consistent. Something we need to take responsibility and work at. And then, you know what, if the bottom of my bag falls out when I'm carrying my shopping, I'll laugh, I'll pick it up. We've got to stop seeing where we put our attention, because where we put our attention, it's where it grows and manifests. So
yeah,
be mindful of that. Is this worth stressing my whole day over?
Yeah. Good points. Well, there's quite a lot in store for us there, isn't there, through August and
there
the
is
rest of the
another
year.
unsettled month, but it's a very unsettled world at the moment, isn't it?
It is.
As much as kind of we're tiptoeing around the whole.
Absolutely. But don't you think the unsettledness of the world is kind of, in a way, forcing us to be unsettled?
Yeah.
But like we need to be, because we've been stuck. So, the unsettledness is kind of jarring our system a bit to get us to make some changes.
Yes, definitely. So I think if we're refusing to make change at the moment, we're going to be made so uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
That we have to make change now.
Yeah.
The world needs us, each other needs us to make changes, but I think it very much needs us first and foremost to be self-responsibility. It's not up to the government to make sure I'm well. It isn't up to powerful people. It's up to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's up to our viewers.
Yeah.
So brilliant, well done.
There we are. Well, that's August, and we will do another one in September, but that's August and a bit of what's to come for the rest of the year. And so just remember, we are now on YouTube, so you need to kind of like and subscribe us to our channel here on YouTube. We will post things still on the Facebook group, but the links will come through to YouTube. So we've got one place for everything, and we hope you enjoy what you see here. Do leave us a comment below. It's always nice to know what you made of it. And we'll be back certainly for the September forecast, and probably in between with something else too.
Yes, we will. So from me, thank you. And again, just take 2 seconds and press the like and subscribe button. It really helps us to sort of get noticed now. And we'd be very grateful if you do. So we look forward to seeing you soon.